let's talk about it. Let's say those uncomfortable things right now, because burnout isn't about working too hard. It's not about needing a break. It's about a system that rewards exhaustion and shames rest. It's about leaders being told that the stress is just part of the job. It's about high achievers, people like you, pushing through, even when the world is shrinking, and not asking for help because that equals weakness. Welcome to Brilliance Unleashed, what we do not sugarcoat leadership, burnout, or what it really takes to thrive as an introverted leader, as an introverted human being, as a human being, simply as that. And today I'm going to say things that might feel uncomfortable, but they need to be said because the way we think about burnout is wrong. And I want to share with you why I decided to record that episode is because recently I got opportunity to work with a few brilliant people who are struggling with burnout, and I have to admit that it really breaks my heart every time I hear their story, and I'm just simply done with being quiet about it or not loud enough to say things that needs to be said to shake the other people not to make the same mistakes that I've done or some of my clients. And I know this because I've lived it and I see it every day in my work with leaders like you. So today I'm not just going to talk about burnout. I want to talk about why we keep failing into it, why it's costing companies billions, and why we need to stop pretending it's just stress because it's not. And mostly importantly, I will share the 3 things you can start doing today to shift how you lead before burnout takes over. And if you are struggling with burnout, do not brush it off. Do not think that you will be able to fix it on your own because you don't see things you don't see. You don't recognize the patterns. You will probably get better over time, but at the time can cost you your career, your friendships, your relationships. And I'm not saying that to scare you off. I'm just saying as it is. And the choice is always yours. So let's dive in and let's start with the ugly truth about burnout. Because burnout is not an event, it's a slow, silent thief. At first, you're just tired, then you start doubting yourself, then suddenly your world is getting smaller. You're shrinking, your confidence, your decision, your energy, all of it starts disappearing. And you just don't even recognize the person in the mirror. And let me hit you with some numbers. Because if you think that you're on your own and you are the only one who is struggling with it, well, over 70% professionals have experienced burnout at some point in their career. See, 70%. Let it sink. Burnout cost companies over 300 billion a year in lost productivity and turnover. 300 billions. Boom. Let it sink. And more than half of leaders admit that they're exhausted, but keep pushing it through. And let me tell you something even worse. Burnout isn't seen as a leadership crisis. It's seen as a personal problem. Companies still treat it like it's just too much work instead of broken system that drains leaders dry. And the worst part is that most people suffer in silence, too ashamed to admit that they cannot keep up. I know this because I was one of them, maybe not the silent one. I went from leading teams across the 3 continents to barely being able to move from my own couch. For 3 weeks, I sat there watching TV or just staring at the screen, drinking tea and wondering if this is it, if I was done, if I would ever feel like me again. And the leadership lie that's keep you stuck and kept me stuck for a while. Here's the thing that no one wants to say again. Most leadership training is outdated. Most corporate cultures reward burnout. And most introverted leaders are trying to lead like extroverts because they think they have to. That's a lie. That's a trap. It is. Introverted leaders, well, we don't need to be louder to be heard. We don't need to be everywhere to be visible. And we don't need to push ourselves to exhaustion to be successful. The research is clear. The introverted leaders excel at strategy, deep thinking, and high quality decision making. Hear it. Strategy, deep thinking, high quality decision making. It's amazing. They create strong, more engaged teams because they listen before they speak. So then strong and engaged team, that's the team that brings business results. And they are twice as likely to experience burnout because they're constantly trying to perform leadership in the way that drains them. I see it all the time. Brilliant, capable leaders trying to fit into the leadership mold that wasn't made for them. That's a trap. That's why I didn't go back to that corporate. That's why I became coach. Because introverted leaders don't need fixing. They need a leadership model that actually works for them. I want you to take a moment and listen to those 3 things you can do today to lead differently. Imagine that those are things you can do today on your own that actually can help you to lead differently, to reduce the amount of stress, to maybe avoid the burnout today. So let's start with the big one. Reclaim control over your energy. 90% of leaders don't track their energy levels, but energy is the greatest leadership asset. So start asking yourself every day, what drains me? What fuels me? Just those simple 2 questions. Table, what drains you? What fuels you? If you're spending 80% of your time on draining tasks and only 20% of the things that energize you, burnout is inevitable. Flip the ratio. Now, today, do the audit of your energy. Take 5 minutes today to write down what parts of your job energize you and what parts just exhaust you. If you're spending most of your time on the draining task, something has to change today. Set a micro boundary. You don't have to flip your life overnight. Start small. Maybe blocking 1 hour deep work or just not answering your email after 6 or 7 p.m. That's enough for today. One small boundary starting today. Because leadership and life isn't about doing more. It's about doing things in a smarter way, in a lean way, in a smoother way. It's about living smarter. How can I help you? Because you might implement those things immediately, what I can tell you, but that might be more to it. So what I offer are the 2 brilliant programs. Quiet Leadership Lab. It's for introverted leaders who want to lead powerfully without burning out, powerfully and sustainably. So you will learn how to lead without expending yourself. You're going to build a leadership style that fits your personality, not someone else. And you're going to master communication and visibility without having to pretend to be extrovert. And the second one in the Stress Less Academy, that's for the leaders, experts who are already on the verge of burnout. And you're going to learn how to reset your energy before burnout takes over completely. You're going to learn to set boundaries that actually stick. You're going to learn how to build a leadership approach that's sustainable and not in a survival mode. because burnout doesn't go away on its own. That's the reality. Recovering is crucial, but the work, deep work that you're going to do on your own, on yourself, it's crucial. It's like you need a new operating system because the one that you had so far led you to burnout. So it means that something is off. It needs to be updated. If you're still trying to push it through, you are already behind. Something needs to change. It's time to upgrade the way you lead, the way you live. And you have two choices now, today, again, because we are focusing on what it's today. You're going to keep doing what you're doing and the risk losing yourself in the process, or you can start leading smarter, not harder. I'm leaving in the link in the show notes 5 stages of burnout kit. It's a free resource for you to check where are you on the stress level and what you can do today to change those stages. And if you are ready to stop surviving and start leading differently, I'm inviting you to book a free of charge call with me. Why am I saying free of charge? Because you need to still invest your time and your energy to show up for that call. Let's have that conversation because leadership shouldn't cost your well-being, because the lifestyle you're having shouldn't cost your well-being. So I want you to take a moment, what you need to do. What kind of choice are you going to make? Are you going to keep continue, or do you want to make a change today? Not tomorrow, not someday. Don't be that someday person. Do it today. So I will see you next time on Brilliance Unleashed. Until then, lead with intention and own your impact. Stay bold, stay brilliant.